Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to Waterton Lakes National Park. My name is Dylan, and I'm an interpreter here at the park. And today I've got a presentation all about the grasslands, prairies, conservation and restoration. But before I start my presentation, I had a couple things I wanted to mention. The first thing I wanted to mention is here in Waterton Lakes National Park, we have all kinds of really awesome free programs for the public happening every single day. So every day we've got free guided hikes, we've got family activities, we've also got every night at 8 o'clock a different theater presentation right here in our Falls Theater. And if you have any questions or are curious about some of the things we have going on, at the back on the table by the door you can pick up one of these handy dandy newspaper-like things. And this is called the Waterton Glacier Guide. It's got all the information you could ever want about what's going on here in Waterton. Now, the next thing I wanted to mention is we've got a really cool program here in Waterton Lakes National Park, and it is the Parks Canada Explorer program. So this is a program you can participate in by grabbing one of these books. They're also on the table by the door, and this is an activity for kids aged about 7 to 12. It's like a nature scavenger hunt, and if you finish 5 of these activities, you're eligible to be recognized here on stage in one of our shows, and you'll get a certificate and a keychain as well. Now, I definitely know I've got a few young folks who have finished the book and are going to take the oath. And if you'd like to come up on stage, if I have any I haven't talked to, and you've finished 5 activities in the book, feel free to come on up. Is there any out there? Not that I can see. Looks like you're my only explorers today. Can I get your names?
Logan.
Logan?
Benjamin.
Benjamin?
Morgan.
Morgan. So Logan, Benjamin, and Morgan are about to take the oath. So I'm going to need you to raise your right arms up in the air. It doesn't matter whichever one, it's okay. And your left hand over your heart. Very good. And I'll get you to repeat after me. As an intrepid. As an intrepid. Parks Canada Explorer. I promise. To protect. Respect. And care. For all. The members. Of our National Parks family. Of our National Parks family. And I also. Promise. To clean my room. And eat all my vegetables all the time. Very good. Can I get these kids a big round of applause? All right. Thank you very much. Good for that. All right. So now that's out of the way, we're almost ready to start our presentation. I just thought it might be good if I kind of introduce myself to you folks first. So, as I said, my name is Dylan, and I'm an interpreter, which kind of means environmental educator here at the park. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always really loved the national parks. So here's a picture of me as a little kid, and here's how I felt about the parks. So I got older, and I went and I got a couple degrees, and then I went and I traveled all around the world, and I saw that there's lots of really beautiful places everywhere in this world. But at the end of the day, I keep coming back to Canada, because I really do think we have some of the most beautiful places out of anywhere. Waterton Lakes National Park is a particularly beautiful place, because not only do we have the kind of majesty and beauty of the Rocky Mountains, but we also have the kind of understated, but I think equally as beautiful prairie grasslands here in the park. Now, our prairie grasslands are extra special because they've got a special kind of grass growing in them. This grass that's up on the screen, this is called rough fescue grass, and it's a special grass that grows here. It's a bunch grass, so it grows kind of like a bouquet of grass, which is a little bit different from the individual blades of grass you have growing in your lawns at home. It's got deep, really well-developed root systems that hold the moisture in the soil really, really well. It helps prevent erosion, and it also helps these plants to survive through a fire. Because if a fire comes and sweeps through and burns the tops off, The roots are able to stay alive underneath, and that's a pretty cool adaptation. Now, this grass used to be all over Alberta, but today in Alberta, only about 40% of our grasslands are undeveloped, and only about 1% of those grasslands are protected. And since we protect some of that 1% here in Waterton Lakes National Park, that's another reason why this is a really, really special and beautiful place. Now, you know what, folks? I've got this whole presentation planned. It's all about the grasslands and stuff. But, you know, I've got something on my mind. And I'm not actually sure I'm going to be able to deliver the presentation until I talk a little bit about it. You see, I'm not only a nature enthusiast. In my spare time, I'm actually also an amateur inventor. And just today, just before coming to do this show, I finished work on my greatest invention of all time. I just finished work on the world's first ever chronographic discombobulator. Well, so I was hoping for a little bit of a better response, but maybe that's something, I'm not set on the name yet. Maybe I'd get a better response if I use its other name. I just finished work on the world's first ever time machine. Thanks, folks. That's more the response I was expecting. So I finished work on the time machine, but I didn't actually have a chance to test it out. So I was wondering, would it be okay, folks, if I tested out my time machine just real quick before I start the presentation? Good to hear. So luckily I brought it with me. It's right over here. Here you go. Here's a time machine. So as you can see, it's very complicated. It's very shiny as well. That's an important thing for time machines. So I guess if I get in it and lift it up over my head, I should be able to go on it like an awesome time travel, and that'll be a good way of testing it out. But I'm not quite sure when I want to go to, you know. I could go maybe into the past, and I could see the fall of Rome, or I could hang out with some dinosaurs, and that would be pretty cool. But, you know, I kind of think I'd rather go into the future. If I go maybe 100 years into the future, I'll be able to get an iPhone 300 before all my friends can, and I'll be able to see all the really cool things people invent, and I'll also be able to find out what happens at the end of Game of Thrones, which would be pretty cool, I think. So, I'll go 100 years into the future. That sounds good to me. I'm going to hop in my time machine, and oh! What's that going on up there? It says time Skypey. It must be some kind of copyright thing or something. It's a bit weird. Oh! What's that on the screen? Who's that on the screen? This is weird. Oh. Hello? I can't hear you. Hello? Oh, it looks like me in the power cord. That's a classic Dylan thing to forget. Stop! Who are you? I'm you. You're me? I'm you from the future. But if you're me from the future, why don't you look any older than I am now? Because you see, I'm you from only about 10 minutes into the future. I was getting ready to show everyone my time machine. I traveled forward in time, and I ended up here. Look, it's totally not really great. Oh, it looks really dirty in the future. It's Godzilla. That's not good. And a giant spider, too! Oh, I don't like spiders. Who else doesn't like spiders? Anyways, yeah. A giant radioactive monster totally stomped on my time machine. But luckily, I was able to use the broken parts to make a time Skype machine, which is what I'm using to talk to you right now. So, I can't travel back into the past to fix the future, but I can talk to you, past Dylan, from here. That totally makes sense, right? Anyways, I need to ask you, past Dylan, a huge favor. I need you to fix the future. You need to go on an adventure, a voyage into the past, to discover why the future is the way it is. And maybe you can find out how to make it better. That sounds awesome. Yeah, it totally does. When should I go to future, Dylan? Maybe if you go to 3 important times. The end of the last ice age, about 12,000 years ago, seems like a good first one. Maybe around 1850 would be another good one. And then I think you should travel to 1988
And then maybe you can discover how to make the future a better place.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Good luck, Dylan. There's a lot riding on whether or not you're successful. No big deal.
No,
Good luck.
Oh, no big deal. That sounds like a pretty big deal to me. Can you believe that? I just met myself from the future. It seems like in an alternate timeline, my time machine worked, and I went to the future, but the future's not awesome. Now I've got to go on an adventure into the past, right now back into the last ice age, and then maybe I'll be able to fix the future. So, I guess I'll get in my time machine. But you know what, folks? There's actually a couple things I haven't mentioned yet about my time machine. The first thing is a pretty cool feature I built into it. By my calculations, when I travel in my time machine, there should be some kind of temporal vortex that opens up right about here, and it should allow you to see me on my adventure in time, but nothing will be able to come across it, so no one's in any danger, and I won't have to do any occupational health and safety forms or anything like that, which is good, because I don't like paperwork very much. The other cool thing I have to tell you is I've used a very ingenious power source tonight for my time machine. I couldn't use coal because it's a small space and I thought it might get a little bit smoky. I couldn't use AA batteries because I couldn't find enough remote controls to steal them out of. And so I've had to use a really special kind of power source. It's clean, it's green, it's local, and the best part is you guys are all making it right now, and I call this power source Spirit Power. Now, for me to harness your spirit power, I just need a little bit of help from you folks. I need you all to raise one arm up in the air. And I need you all to point your other arm at me. And now I need you to wiggle your fingers. And if you're doing it right, the spirit power should channel right through your body, and it should come out your mouth and sound a little bit like this. So let's hear it, folks. Hear your spirit power. Oh, that sounds like really good spirit power. All right, so I'm gonna get in my time machine. I'm gonna count to 3, and then it'll be time for you guys to hold your arms up in the air and channel your spirit power. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, spirit power. Oh, I can feel it starting to work. Oh, I'm traveling through time. Wow, it looks like it's worked. I'm 10,000 years ago during the last ice age. I can tell I'm in the same place because all the mountain peaks are the same up there, but everything else is really, really different. I can see, it's weird, there's like a big sheet of ice up in the mountains. It looks like it's about 2 kilometers high, and that's why only the peaks are sticking out. And the ground beneath my feet is also really, really different. It seems like there's no grass, and there's no dirt. There's just a bunch of giant boulders. I think I've heard of these boulders before. I think they're called glacial till, and they were left behind at the end of the last ice age when the glaciers moved off the plains and up into the mountains. And I wonder what that means. I don't really know what that has to do with, saving the... Oh. Can anybody see that? It must be through the temporal vortex or something. You can't see it. Don't worry too much about it. It looks like there's a big brown monster coming over the hill over there. And, you know what, folks? It's not that I'm scared or anything, but, I am still at work. And I don't think our workplace insurance covers getting squashed by a prehistoric monster or anything. So I'm just going to hide back here, and hopefully whatever it is will just come straight past, and no one will get hurt or anything. So I'm just going to hide back here, and so I'll peek up over the top here. See if I can stay up there. Good enough. I'm kind of looking at the ground, but don't worry, I can see.
Why, this is very strange. I can see a shimmering wall in front of me and many tiny creatures on the other side. It must be some kind of temporal vortex or something. Don't think too much about it. But to tell you the truth, I'm actually very happy to see someone who I can talk to. You see, my name is Wilfred, and I am a woolly mammoth. And I am worried that I might be the very last woolly mammoth there is. You see, there have been lots and lots of changes happening around here recently. In the past 10,000 years, this place has heated up by 1 degree Celsius. And that doesn't sound like very much, but it's actually been enough that there is no more ice on the plains where us woolly mammoths live, and now there is only ice up there in the mountains. And this has been a very big change for us woolly mammoths. Without any ice, it's harder for us mammoths to get the things that we like to eat that are naturally growing here. And also, things like our woolly fur coats that keep us warm, why, they're not so useful as the world heats up. Now, there is another change that has been happening, and it's a pretty scary one. There are some new creatures that live here. They walk around on 2 legs, and they call themselves humans. Say, you wouldn't be humans, would you? No? I hope not, because us woolly mammoths and humans, we don't get along very well. The humans, they circle around us, and they throw sharp sticks at us, and, well, they hunt us to use our fur for their clothing, and our bones sometimes even for their houses. And this makes me very, very sad. And, you know, when I get so sad, there's only one thing that will make me feel better. Can anybody guess what that might be? A song, that's right. So, here goes. If it's okay, I'm going to sing for you my woolly mammoth song. All right, here goes. I am the loneliest mammoth you ever knew. If I had a friend, I'd have lots of fun, but I'm pretty sure that I'm the only one. Going extinct is the saddest experience I'll ever know. Yes, it's the saddest experience I'll ever know. 'Cause the world's been getting warmer and now the ice is gone. And since humans have arrived, I'm not sure where I belong. It's just no good anymore since the climate changed. Now I spend all my time making up rhymes of yesterday. 'Cause I am the loneliest mammoth. I am the loneliest mammoth. Oh, I am the loneliest mammoth you ever knew. Mammoth solo. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm still a little worried that between the changing climate and humans arriving here that maybe all my mammoth friends have gone extinct. But you know what? I think I heard about this mammoth island up in the north called Wrangel Island, and maybe I have the strength now to go and see if I can't see my mammoth friends there. So I'm just gonna go behind this conveniently placed obstacle, and I'll see you later, folks. Oh good, I found a set of stairs even.
Dylan, where are you? Are you there? I hope you didn't get eaten by something during the last ice age. That would be the worst.
That's okay, Future Dylan, I'm right here.
What did you see?
You'll never believe it. I just met a talking, singing woolly mammoth.
Are you sure time travel hasn't scrambled your circuits or something, past Dylan?
Don't think too much about it, Future Dylan. It was amazing. The woolly mammoth, well, he told me some cool things. It seemed like the climate had been changing. Over 10,000 years, it had warmed up by 1 degree Celsius, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it was enough to change the world from the cold Ice Age world that he lived in into the warmer world that we live in our time. And also, humans had just arrived, and it seemed like they were making some pretty big changes as well. What do you think about that, Future Dylan?
Interesting. I'll have to think about what that means. For now, I need you to time travel again. Maybe you'll learn something important if you travel to the year 1850.
Okay.
That seems like an important time in history. It's near the time that Canada became a country, and it's also near the time of the Industrial Revolution. So maybe something important was going on then, and you should go check it out.
Okay, I'll see about what I can do. Bye, Future Dylan. All right, so y'all heard Future Dylan. I need to travel through time again to the year 1850. You know what that means, folks? I need a little bit of spirit power. So arms in the air. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I can feel the sun going. Oh, I'm traveling through time. Wow. So, with a little extra spirit power from the artist out there. So, I'm in 1850, and boy, it sure is different from 10,000 years ago, but it is a lot more like our time. There's dirt and grass under my feet again, and lots of flowers, but the flowers are a bit weird. You know, I recognize some of these flowers, but some of the flowers I recognize from my time, they don't seem to be here, and that's a bit weird. Also, up in the mountain there, I can see there's a few trees, but there's actually not very many compared to our time. I wonder what that could be. Oh. I bet you don't see this monster either, do you? I know it seems really convenient and stuff, but there's another big brown monster coming over that hill right there, and it's not as big as the last one, but you know, I think it's better. Shakespeare once said this really smart thing, and I always forget what it was, but it was something about valor and valor not being really great. So don't write that on your English exams or anything, but I'm just gonna hide back here because valor is not so awesome. So I'll kick up there. We'll see what happens. I seem to have run into some kind of temporal vortex or something. Don't think too much about it, and I ran in so hard that my horns have come off. not supposed to happen. It's dangerous. I can put my horns back on, but you can't, so play safe. There we go. Well, you know what? I was acting real aggressive, but, because you're people and my kind don't get along so well with people, but you know what? Seems like since there's this barrier between us, and we can't maybe hurt each other, well, I guess then maybe we may as well be friends. What do you say, folks? Do y'all want to be friends with me? All good, all good. Now, if we're going to be friends, there's a couple of things you need to know about me. The first thing you should know is my name. My name is actually Billy the Bison. And some people might call me a buffalo, but that's not actually quite right. You see, buffalo are species that live in Africa and Asia and Europe. But us species that live here in North America, well, our Latin name is actually Bison, Bison, Bison. That's right, we got a name so nice, they named us Thrice. And if we're going to be friends, you should also know the things that I like, because that's an important thing to know about your friends. The first thing I like, Billy the Bison, is Billy the Bison loves to eat. I love to eat grass, I love to eat flowers, and I adore to eat trees. And that's why this is such a great place for me. This place around here has delicious daisies and other yummy flowers. It has appetizing aspen and fantastic, fabulous fescue grasses that hold their nutritional value well into the winter and are excellent feed for us bison. Now, the second thing I love that you should know about is Billy the Bison loves to run around. That's right. Billy the Bison loves to run on my own. I can run up to 60 kilometers an hour. But my favorite thing is to run with a group of my friends. I can get into a herd of maybe, I don't know, 10 or 20,000 of my buddies, and we go for a big run across the plains, and that's just the greatest thing for me. Now, the last thing Billy the Bison loves that you should know about is a little bit weird. Billy the Bison loves fire. And that sounds a bit weird because fire is so destructive, but it's actually really useful for us bison. You see, on the prairies, after a while, the grass can get old and unpalatable, and it's not so delicious. And when a fire comes through and sweeps all that old, unpalatable stuff out, new green shoots grow, and they're extra delicious and extra nutritious for us bison. So those are the three things I love: eating, running, and fire. But you know what? It's been a little bit harder for me to get the things I love lately, and I was hoping to maybe talk to some of my friends about it. I think I see some of my friends right there. So excuse me, folks. I'm just going to see what my friends have to say. Why don't you stand up, friends? These are my friends Bart and his other brother Bart. They're my bison buddies. How you feeling today, Barts?
Good. Yeehaw.
All right, good. Say, do you want to go for a run, Barts?
Yeehaw.
All right, let's go. Come on over here. We're going to go for a bison run. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, now back the other way. Say, those are some fancy hooves you got there. Light up in the dark and everything. It's been too long since I went for a run with my buddies. Has it been the same for you, Barts?
Yeehaw. Yeehaw.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it seems like it used to be real easy to find our other bison friends because there's about 60 million of us here. But today it seems like there's only about 800 of us left. That seem about right?
Yeehaw.
Oh, and I wonder if that has something to do with, humans have been circling around us lately. They've been shooting us with these new guns that they got. And that's not good for us bisons, is it?
Yeehaw.
Yeah, no, that's not good. And how does that make you feel?
Yeehaw.
Yeah, me too. Yeehaw. Anyways, while we think about that, why don't I give my friends Bart's a big round of applause? Oh, I think I see my other friend Elvira the Aspen. Say, Elvira, I'm going to have a little sample of your grasses there, of your leaves. Pretty delicious. Say, Elvira, you are sure looking awful lush and abundant lately, aren't you? Very good. You're looking lush and abundant, and it seems like you're growing everywhere these days out on the prairies. Is that right?
Yes, yes, yes.
That's good to hear. But you know, that's not normally what happens. Normally, you aspen trees, you only grow up high in the mountains. I wonder if that has something to do with the fire regime that's been happening. Didn't there used to be a fire every 5 to 10 years that would come through and burn all you aspen back?
Yes, yes, yes.
And hasn't it been about 20 or 30 years since the last big fire?
Yes, yes, yes.
Do you think that's why you're so lush and abundant?
Yes, yes, yes.
interesting. While we ruminate on that, why don't I give my friend Elvira a big round of applause? Thank you very much, Elvira. Well, I see a stranger all right there. I've never seen you around before. I'm gonna have a little taste. Say, I think I've heard about you. Is your name by any chance Spotted Knapweed?
Yes.
Oh, say, I think I heard, are you an invasive species?
Yes.
Oh, you know, I heard that you came over here from Europe, and that you've got a special chemical in your roots called a lactone that actually poisons all the native species growing around you. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, say, if you poison the species around you, does that mean that you are, in fact, evil?
Yes.
No, you're not evil. You're just a plant doing what plants do. You see, wherever a plant is, it's evolved to live in balance with the other plants around it. If a plant moves from one place to another all the way across the world, sometimes it's just out of balance because it's got some skill that the other plants don't have a defense against. So it's, I like to say it's kind of like if Wayne Gretzky came to play hockey with me and my friends. It's not his fault he's so good, and my fault I'm so not good, is it? It's just how it is. So since you're not evil, why don't we give my friend Spotted Knapweed a very large round of applause. Thank you very much. Well, it seems like the things I love are in fact getting harder to find. It seems like it's harder to run because it's harder to find my friends. It seems like fires aren't happening so often, so it's harder to get that delicious after fire food. And it also seems like the food that I'm eating is kind of different because there's a bunch of new invasive species growing here, and that's awful weird. I don't quite know what it means, but maybe there's someone somewhere, maybe hiding behind a bush or something, who can talk about this and discuss it a little bit. So I'm gonna go, but maybe I'll find that guy back here or something. See you later, folks. Well, I found an elevator back here too. Beep. You better not be having a nap and wasting everyone's time. No, it's okay, future Dylan, I'm right here. What? Did you meet another talking animal or something? You'll never believe it. I met a talking, running around boisterous bison. It was incredible. What do you think of that? Really? Well, that's unbelievable. What did the bison say? Well, the bison told me some really cool stuff. It said that he loved three things: running, eating, and fire. But those things are getting harder to find, and you know, it seemed like humans had a little something to do with all of those things changing. I think we changed how fires work. I know we hunted the buffalo, and I know we were introducing those species. So I'm not sure what that means. What do you think, Future Dylan? Well, I think we have enough spirit power left in this crowd for another couple jumps. Why don't we make a short one to 1988? I think I remember hearing 1988 was an important time for some reason. All right, see what I can do. Bye, Future Dylan. So, you, Future Dylan, you travel in time again to 1988. That's pretty exciting. I really liked the music back then and stuff. So, the old time machine's all tangled. You know what that means, folks? Arms in the air. Spirit power on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sounds good. You can feel it starting. I think. Oh, I'm traveling through time again. Oh, this looks really bumpy. Wow. So, 1988. It looks a bit different from 1850. It looks a lot more like 2015. I can see, it seems like there's less different flowers growing. It seems like that spotted knapweed has really done a good job of stopping the other prairie species from growing around it. And there's lots and lots of trees growing. It seems like without fires, those aspen have really, really grown all over the prairies. That's a bit weird. I wonder what that could be. Oh, I bet you don't see it this time either. That's weird. There's a little, it's not a monster, It looks like a little colorful thing, and I don't know. It's all blue, and my mom always said don't eat anything blue, so I'm gonna hide back here, and hopefully one of yours will just go right by and not bother us. So I'll poke my head up. Hello? This is really scary for me, cause I'm only 6 years old. I know I'm like really tall and I've got stubble, but I swear I'm only 6 years old. You see, I'm a little bit worried. I wandered off when I was playing my video game, and now you folks are here. That's kind of scary. I was playing my favorite video game though, and it was really, really exciting. It was called Captain Planeteer. Has anyone here ever heard of Captain Planeteer before? It must be before your time then, I guess. So Captain Planeteer, he's this really cool superhero, and he's got blue skin and green hair, and he helps save the environment using karate and friendship. And I was playing the game and I beat the first 2 levels, but then I couldn't beat the last level, and that's when I got distracted and wandered off. The enemy of the last level was this really scary thing. It's called global warming. And in the game, it's really scary. It sounds like there's a gas that comes out of cars and out of factories and stuff. And it's called CO2 or carbon dioxide. And it goes all the way up in the air, and it forms a blanket around the planet Earth. And this blanket has always been here, but lately the blanket has gotten twice as thick. And if the Earth has a blanket that's twice as thick, it means everything on Earth is going to get a little too hot and too thirsty and have a hard time sleeping at night. And that's not very good for the planet Earth. I wouldn't like that if I had to sleep with a blanket that was too thick. And well, you know, I'm actually kind of worried about it, and now I'm kind of scared, and I just really wish my mama was here. Say, folks, could you help me call for my mama, maybe? Could we, on the count of 3, yell out, "Hey, mama"? 1, 2, 3. Hey, mama! Oh, good, I think I see her up there, and she's coming over here. Thanks, folks. That's real good. Oh. Hey, Mama.
Young man, come here right now. You know what I said about wandering off. You're only 6 years old.
I know, but I was daydreaming about how to save the environment like Captain Planeteer, using karate and friendship.
That's great. Saving the planet is important. Karate and friendship are awesome. Did you know Parks Canada does lots of stuff to help the environment?
Like what, Mama?
Well, they have a new thing called the 1988 National Parks Act that says they put the environment first. Here in Waterton, they also are starting to karate chop invasive species like knapweed by pulling them and getting volunteers to help. They are also being friends to the grasslands by using controlled fires to reduce the aspen and restore the grasslands to how they were before people arrived.
And I bet they're going to put on lots of interpretive programs for everyone to let them know what's going on, right, Mama?
You know it. You know what, son? Someday I'm sure you'll grow up to make a really good park interpreter, or something like that.
But what about global warming, Mama?
That's a tough one, son. That is a problem a little bigger than what Parks Canada can deal with alone. It will probably take a really long time and a lot of hard work to figure out an answer, but it sure does seem important.
It sure does.
Now, why don't you go get some ice cream, big guy? Why don't you ride on my shoulders, because you're only 6 years old?
You want me to ride on your shoulders?
Yep.
Maybe not this week. Can I get a big round of applause for my mama? Wow, that made me feel better. You know, it seems like there's a lot of scary things in the world, but it seems like people can maybe do something about these scary things, and maybe I feel strong enough to play my video game now. So I'm just gonna go over here. I'm gonna ride this conveniently placed slide that's back here, and see y'all later, folks. Whee! Wow. That little kid, he really liked karate and friendship. I like karate and friendship too. That's pretty neat. Say, isn't this the part where future Dylan normally comes on it and tries to see what I'm doing? This is weird. Oh, I'm a little bit nervous. You know, maybe he didn't have as much spirit power as I have, and he can't talk to me all the way back here in 1988 anymore. Maybe he'll have a better chance if I go back to 2015. That sounds like a good idea. So I'm gonna hop back in my time machine. You know what that means, folks? Arms in the air. All right, spirit power on 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, still working. Big, it's working. All right. Time travel makes you a little bit dizzy by the end of the day. So, back here in 2015, I wonder where future Dylan could be. Oh, there's the timescape. Future Dylan, are you there?
Oh, hey, sorry man. I was just going to the washroom. It is a pretty long show.
I know, but I'm pretty sure it's almost over.
So, we've now been to 3 times. 12,000 years ago, the year 1850, and 1988. And what have we learned so far?
Well, it was pretty cool. 10,000 years ago, I learned that the climate had been changing slowly, and that humans had just arrived, and they were hunting mammoths. And the mammoths, it seemed like they were almost extinct, and they did go extinct shortly after that, I think. Next we traveled to 1850. I learned that humans had been changing a whole bunch of stuff there as well. We changed how some fires happening. We'd introduced a bunch of invasive species, and we'd also hunted the buffalo almost to extinction. And then I went to 1988, and I learned that humans had done all these things a little bit more, and that there was this new, really scary thing happening called global warming, and that was pretty scary. But, you know, I also learned that in 1988, people were really starting to think about the changes we were making to the world, and we started thinking of ways to make those changes a little bit better. And, you know, some of the things are pretty scary, but I think it was important that we learned that, you know, making changes can maybe make the future a better place. But I don't understand it. What do you think? Why isn't the future better, future Dylan?
Well, I have an idea about that. Maybe, just by telling everyone about the changes that are happening, and the things Parks Canada is doing to respond to these changes, we'll make the future a little bit better. But maybe there's still a little bit more we can do. Maybe there are some things the people in the audience can do to help out a bit.
Like what?
For instance, I'm pretty concerned about this giant monster behind me. He may chomp me any second now. Maybe, if everyone promises not to genetically engineer radioactive monsters, this will help me out right now. There's also this Godzilla monster over here, too. I didn't want to make too big a deal about it, but I'm actually kind of terrified.
Okay, I've got an idea, future Dylan. Maybe we can help you out. Everyone in the audience, follow along with me. Raise your right arm in the air. Put your left hand over your heart. And repeat after me. I. Insert name here. Do solemnly swear. That I will not. Genetically engineer. Any. Radioactive Godzilla monsters. Let's see if that helps. Then I'll go, oh, what's coming
Hey,
down?
look! The monsters are gone.
That's incredible.
Let's try a few more.
All right, I've got an idea. Everyone assume the position again and repeat after me. I promise. To recycle. To ride my bicycle. To eat yummy vegetables? Out of my mama's garden. Or someone else's garden? If they give me permission. And I also promise to do my best. To love the place I live. All right, let's see. Is that having an effect? Oh, look. Something's happening.
Look, the future got way better. All those tiny changes have made the future a much better place. That's incredible.
It sure is. It seems like that's amazing. We fixed the future by just doing a bunch of tiny stuff, and it really did work.
You bet.
But that's weird, because if the future's all fixed now, does that mean this adventure never happened and we're like in a loop in time or something like that?
Just don't think too much about it.
Okay.
Why don't we just thank everyone for coming and hope they have a wonderful time in Waterton.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Good night, everyone.
But you know what? I don't think I can let you go yet because I just had a moment of inspiration. I know this was a spontaneous adventure and everything, but I've just suddenly written a song about it that I'm going to play for you all. And the chorus is even up there on the board. If you feel comfortable joining along during the chorus, I'll let you know when it's coming, and that would be fantastic. And here goes. We traveled back in time to the last ice age. It was cold and rocky, but things had started to change. The weather was warming and humans had arrived. And pretty soon all the mammoths would be extinctified. Then we went to 1850 and met a lonesome buffalo, where his friends had gone, he really didn't know. No more cars burned to restore his grasslands home, and no longer did the wild herds rise and roam. Then we went back to the time when I was young, back in 1988, when humans had just begun to understand the effects of CO2 on the atmosphere, and how the things we do can make the things we love disappear. Folks, I think that's okay, because understanding the changes we're making in the world is kind of the first step in maybe doing something about those changes. So it was back in the 1980s when we really started to realize this, and we started to think about ways we can make the future a better place. And it was back in the 1980s that we started singing the chorus, and I'm going to sing the chorus now, and it'd be great if you joined on. We'll stop the world from melting soon. We can make a difference, and we'll make the future a better time. There's lots of things that we can do. We'll stop the world from melting soon. Hawks Canada can pull the weeds that are growing on the plains. And sometimes we start a fire to restore the things that we have changed. But there's lots of other things that everyone can do, like ride a bike or plant a tree or reduce your CO2. Everyone sing! We'll stop the world from melting soon. We can make a difference and we'll make the future a better time. There's lots of things we can do. We'll stop the world from melting soon. Not just all the men. We'll stop the world from melting soon. Now all the ladies, we can make a difference. Now everyone born before 1976. Good job, folks. Now everyone all together. We'll stop the world from melting soon. Now I have a feeling maybe some people have some pent-up spirit power that didn't quite make it into the time machine. So I want you to channel all your excess spirit power on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go! Awesome. Thank you so much for coming out, folks. You've been a tremendous audience. If you have any questions, feel free to approach me after the show. Also, at the back of the theater, next to the door on that table, there are comment cards you can fill out if you want to let me know how I did. And you can also be entered in a contest to win some cool Parks Canada stuff if you do that. If you have any other questions, it should be in the Waterton Glacier Guide. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And again, thank you very much for coming out. Good night, folks.